and welcome to The Natural View. I'm Maggie Jacqua, Editor-in-Chief of Whole Foods Magazine, and I'm here with Todd Powley of 24 Stories Marketing. Welcome, Todd.
Hey, Maggie. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We're dealing with a snowstorm here in New Jersey, but staying warm and cozy inside.
Yeah, so I heard it's a little rough out there. Welcome to February.
Yep.
So
we're here to talk about our February issue, which just came out. You know, you had a chance to look at that.
Yeah. So a lot of exciting stuff in there. Several things I want to bring up in our short amount of time here. So I'll try to fly through them. But the first thing I noticed when I opened the issue was this in-depth article. You did a great job on it. You wrote it, right? But it's all about adaptogens. And I thought this was interesting because it covers so many aspects of the topic. And for me, and I don't know if this has been other people's experience, but for me, they came on my radar in a big way a few years ago as we worked with brands shooting influencer campaigns. So a lot of Instagram influencers that I had come across during that period of time were talking about adaptogens, and they were putting content out there. And now, for a number of reasons, the industry is talking about them. And it's been a word that's popped up here and there over the last several months. And I thought that was interesting, at least from my experience. It was almost this flip in terms of, consumer awareness and people talking about it, but not quite knowing the ins and outs. And then I've heard industry talk about adaptogens a lot more. And so I thought your article was perfectly timed to kind of get a primer on the whole topic, all the way down to, from what they are all the way down to supply chain issues and what retailers can expect. So I thought that was great. I'm just curious, what was the motivation to dive into that at this time?
It's just so perfectly timed for right now. Obviously, the category is growing and continues to grow. And what you said speaks to the power of influencers to help spread the word. But consumer demand is there. And it's the combination of just being stressed and needing the immune function to be at its best as well. And adaptogens help with all that. In fact, in the article, one of our experts, David Winston from Herbalist and Alchemist, talked about being like a vaccine against, to help you deal with stress, against stress, and building stress resilience being so important now for your mental health, but also because of the impact that stress can have on your immune health. So it's so important right now. And as you mentioned too, with COVID impacting the supply chain, and especially with herbs, as the demand is increasing, there's also these supply chain issues that needed to be contended with. So we asked, the companies what their best practices are, what retailers should be asking of brands, and suppliers, what manufacturers should be asking of their suppliers in terms of, making sure that the supply chain and that the quality is there. Because again, with the consumer boom here, and with a term adaptogens that's buzzy and maybe not clearly understood at any level, but especially at the consumer level, you want to make sure that whatever they take works for them. So it's so important to be educated on it, and it's so important that they get the quality products, or they just throw their hands up and like, well, this doesn't work, and we can't have it.
And I think that's important to for retailers especially to come in and be the authority there, because I think as it mentioned in the article, the true definition of adaptogens has maybe morphed a little bit away from or I should say the usable term or definition of adaptogens has morphed a little bit from what the actual definition is. And so I think there's probably a lot of consumers, as that word as the term has been bandied about, not quite understanding, especially what they are. And like you said, you'd hate for someone to go in and get something that doesn't necessarily work for them because of an understanding of what the product truly is. So giving this information out to retailers, especially so they can, be that in the aisle authority to help guide folks as they walk into the stores, is excellent.
Yeah, and we talk about what, the latest science and what the herbs are that are in the category, and, some are stimulating and some are calming, and there's a lot to know. And also, as the research continues, the category, continues to evolve. So we'll have to stay on top of this one.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That's the exciting part of our industry, right? So, and then, speaking of something that is more tried and true throughout the years and not as trendy is talking about heart health in February, right?
Right.
Every February, we talk about heart health right along with Valentine's Day. But having said that, it's a little different this year. And I think as you wrote about heart health in the February issue, you related that a little bit to the changing discussion of heart health as relates to COVID and stress and things like that. So can you talk a little bit about what you're bringing new to this discussion in the issue?
Yeah, I mean, we looked at it through the lens of why is it obviously always important, a top killer, but in the age of COVID, why it's even more important that people act proactively to protect their heart health. And, there's information in there about the immune category being up, obviously with COVID, but also immune adjacent products with, stress relief, as we were just talking, and sleep, but also protecting your heart health because of these comorbidities. So that's a big topic to make sure that everybody's aware of, and increasingly consumers who are just recognizing, well, I need to keep myself as healthy as I can possibly be because all of this that's going on. So it just takes on a whole different lens this year than in years past. It's not the same old heart health story anymore.
Yeah. So important to kind of understand what some of those nuances are given what we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of ongoing challenges in these times, immune health, right? Something everyone's talked about. We talked on our last issue preview for January about this 3-part series you're doing on immune health. So in the February issue, I noticed you have your second of the 3 articles that's coming out, and this one's all about lifestyle. What would you call it? Lifestyle habits to help boost immune or good lifestyle tricks.
Yeah, because it's not just about the supplements that you take. You have to make sure that you have the whole foundation. So this is actually part 3 of 4, because we're going to do it again next month too. I mean, we could do it a month this year. Honestly, there's so much to say, but we really look at sleep and, again, stress and the impact on immune health and diet, because you have to look at the big picture. You can't just take a supplement and think, oh, I took XYZ and now I'm going to be great. No, you have to have the right foundation and have, be working with these building blocks. And, if you're stressed and you're not sleeping and then your immune health dies, it's all connected. So you have to address it all.
Yeah, I think that's great. One of the ones that stood out to me in particular was your focus on sleep. Because while all lifestyle change takes a certain amount of discipline, I think sleep is one of those aspects that people can probably carve out, and it's a little easier maybe to find the discipline to get, allow yourself to get a little more sleep. I think a few years ago even, and then in years before that, there's almost this bragging rights thing about, hey, I'm the type of person that only gets 4 hours of sleep at night. That's all I need. I'm super productive. I can't believe you're wasting your time getting 8 hours every night. Like, how does that work? Well, it was almost like this bravado thing. And I'm so happy to hear that has changed. And now the conversation, at least from my perspective, has switched to all the things you can do because you get adequate sleep. And so I was really happy to hear that, and also happy to hear that you're writing about how it relates to immune health.
Yeah, you have to do the whole thing, and then it all ties together actually in this issue, because then there's some new research on ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen, and its role in sleep, stress, and immune. So
whoa, look at that.
Ties together in a bow.
Yeah, but, that's the editing expertise at work, right?
Yeah, but it's definitely true. Yeah, we used to just be so like, I can run on empty and still go, but you really couldn't. You weren't operating at your peak. And then when you're faced with challenges like we are these days, you have to slow down. You have to take those steps to take care of yourself. So
yeah. Well, great. So those are the big things I took away from the issue. What else is in there that we should take a look at?
Oh, there's so much, but I just want to say briefly that we announced a few months ago in December that Dr. Richard Passwater, who's our science columnist, that he was retiring from writing his monthly articles, but he does have an article in the February issue that is on high dose vitamin C and the Math Plus protocol, and its role in protecting and helping people dealing with COVID. So it talks about some of the research that's going on in hospitals and some of the work that's being done. So I highly recommend reading that.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Anything else in the issue we should talk about?
Oh, I could go on all day.
Yeah, I know you could. All right. So is it fair to say we've given, we've hit a couple of the highlights, but there are many more, so people should head to the site.
Sure, yes. The digital issue is available on WholeFoodsMagazine.com now, and there's tons of bonus content on our website as well, so check it out.
Yeah, sounds good. Can't wait to talk to you about the next issue. Everyone go check it out, WholeFoodsMagazine.com.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks. Talk to you later, Maggie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.